Good morning and welcome to the Singapore Property Show 2021, brought to you by MediaCorp and our partners 99 Group and top real estate agencies PropNex, ERA, Huttons, Orange Tea and SRI. I'm Stephen Chia, I'm your host for the morning. Now, our first session in Hall A today will be helmed by Kelvin Fong. He is the Executive Director of PropNex. He's going to help us answer a very common question. Many of us always asking, when is the right time for HDB owners to upgrade to private property? Perhaps that is something you are thinking about. And what benefits can you stand to gain from investing in a new property today? He will also be sharing more on one of the most in-demand new launches. We're talking about Treasure at Tampines. But before I pass the time to Kelvin, there is a reminder that we have a lucky draw session where every session we give away 2 cash prizes of $100 each. So take a look at the link, send in your details, and at the end of the session, we will reveal the winners. But otherwise, I am now going to pass the time over to Kelvin. Kelvin, all yours.
Thank you. Hi, good morning to every one of you here who are watching us, because today is really a Saturday and you guys are still watching us. I really hope that I can do my very best for the next 1 hour, right, to really share as much as possible, especially those who are actually the HDB upgraders. Of course, at the end of the day, whatever information that I'm going to give it to you, I hope that all this can add value to you. But of course, if you're not sure of anything, I'm very sure any of our so-called any agents out there probably can actually share with you in greater detail based on the information that we have provided. All right, without much further ado, just a disclaimer for myself, because at the end of the day, I just want to tell you, property investment or property purchase, definitely there's certain risks here and there. Of course, most important that I'm very sure that all these things can be taken care of as long as you have done your financial prudence, and I think you'll be safe for you guys, right? So now, today my purpose of my class here is basically upgrading necessary in today's market. And of course, the reason is why do I need to upgrade at the end of the day here? How to take advantage of the HDB market. Today, I'm going to show you some of the statistics that I think will be very useful for a lot of HDB owners out there too. And of course, because people are talking about cooling measure here. So the question is, will the cooling measure actually affect the people out there? Will affect the real estate market as well? So this is something that I think is important. Of course, supply and demand. How does it actually affect the price too? Lastly, I just want to share with you, if you want to buy a property, at the end of the day, how do you determine whether a property is worth to invest? And this is something that I'm going to go through. I hope that all these things, I can do it within the next 1 hour or so, right? Sit back and relax what I'm going to share with you here. So first and foremost, I think why people upgrade. Is it the right time? I think this is something that a lot of people out there will probably want to find out. Unfortunately, today I'm not in the Zoom platform, so I cannot ask your question. I cannot see all your answer, because I really hope that I can see all your answer here, right, in my Zoom platform. Because unfortunately, I'm not inside here, I can't see. But definitely ask yourself this question: is it the right time? So how do we determine whether is it the right time, right? So today I'm going to touch on all this little aspect. But before I move on, right, I just want to take this advantage to share with you something that this pandemic really has taught us something that is very important. The important is about whether do we have something called the self-sufficient in terms of the numbers, in terms of our savings that we have. Because at the end of the day, you see, this crisis we have, some people are unfortunately, they are affected because of the example, aviation, right? If let's say we do have enough saving, will we actually have that kind of stress? So that's the reason why today, my segment, I want to touch on something called how can we create saving through property purchase. At the end of the day, why I can share with you all these things, because I myself have actually gone through all these things within the last 10 over years of my property investment journey. And therefore, today I want to share with you how can you create all these things so that what? So that in any crisis, you guys will be always taken care of. Because really, honestly speaking, we really wouldn't know that if a crisis comes in, this so-called COVID-19 can be over. But what about in future? Will there be anything else? But if we have enough saving, will that actually help us better? I think this is something that is crucial for every one of us here to understand, so that you guys will be able to plan forward. And this is something that is very important. Like I mentioned, we can have so many crises and so many things can happen. But the most important question here is, we must be what? Self-sufficient. And I think that is the most critical part that everyone need to have. So before we talk about self-sufficient, I just want to bring everybody to this thing called the age group. I'm quite sure that every one of us here from 21 to 30 years old, right? Most of us are actually looking at what? How to actually make money. But we may not have the time to think through about saving enough or probably want to plan the future. But because why? Well, I was an Air Force regular in the past too. So basically, I work, I earn, I probably pay whatever expenses I have. But I believe many people who are at this age group are generally in this kind of position too. But the critical moment is here when we are at the age of 30 to 45, this period of time, which is the most important part. Why? Because most of us may be getting married, we have children, we have educations. So the question here is, do we have enough? Do we have enough in terms of taking action? And I want to tell every one of us here, this is our prime time when most of us are able to do well, most of us are able to have, so-called have the strength and energy, right? To really, really work hard. But while we are working hard, this is the time that how can we actually use assets to create what? Saving. As I mentioned to you, why do we need saving? Because this pandemic has really taught us something. We must have enough. Because when we do not have enough, what will happen next? We will be stressed over whether do we have enough to take care of children, our parents, our family. And this is something that we need to think. Later on, I'm going to show you some of these examples. Imagine if you can overcome all these challenges, will you have a better return? And of course, when you are able to have more saving, which is between your 30 to 45 years old, then we talk about what? Retirement. Because I believe those people who are now 20 plus, 30 plus, probably never really think about retirement. Because why? Because we are thinking, hey, I just want to make sure that I have enough to take care of my children, my family, my education, or all this necessary thing. Where I got time to think about retirement? Which I tell everyone one very important thing. I think we need to plan. Because why? So that when we reach 65 years old, we want to have a better life. I mean, at the end of the day, if we continue to work hard for the next 30 years, what about 60 onward? Do we want to continue just working hard? Or do we want to have enough saving so that we can be better off subsequently? This is really a golden question for many. But in order to achieve what we are talking about here, we need to plan here, which is a very golden period that many people must take note of. Of course, the question is, I'm 50 years old now or 50 plus, do I have an opportunity? I don't think that you don't have. Most important is about plan. How can you actually plan with your agents out there probably can help you to understand a little bit more of all these things here, right? So now, if you can understand the objective of planning, objective of moving forward, the next thing that I want to talk about here is because why? Why today my topic mainly I want to talk about HDB? Because 70% of the owners out there are probably staying in HDB market. So the next question here is that, what should I do? Actually, honestly, I was just talking to some people out there. I was quite surprised that, actually not surprised lah. Basically, they have been staying in the HDB for 20 years, but after that, what happened? Today they sell their property, they don't make a single cent out of it. Why? Because of the accrued interest, which you will never believe that it can happen. And therefore, today I want to really what? Show you some of these statistics, right? So that you can have a better and clearer picture about yourself. Now, the HDB market really has rebounded in terms of price. And the good news here is that it took 8 years to really move forward until today almost rebounded. Let me show you the numbers. But let's understand the most important thing here is that why is it HDB prices drop after 2013? Because in 2013, where the government came up with the cooling measure called MSR, which actually stopped what? Stop the HDB market from moving forward. But nothing wrong with the government. Because why? Our government policy is very simple. They want to ensure that, right, all Singaporeans must have a roof above their head. And they must make sure that housing development is always what? Kept affordable. They cannot allow the HDB price keep going up. Then at the end of the day, what will happen? Sure, a lot of people will be very, very unhappy because at the end of the day, they want to take care of this group of people. That's why when the government introduced this cooling measure, the price slowed down for the next 8 years. But the good news here is the price actually came back after 8 years. Let me show you the numbers, right? If you look at the overall HDB prices, the price has gone up, moved all the way to here. Now, the question is, will the government continue to allow the price to go upward this way? That is my question. Because why? If the government allowed the price to continue to go this way, right, what will happen next? A lot of people will be unaffordable. At the end of the day, what will happen? They have to do something, right, to make sure what? To make sure that the price are what? Are stable. So let me show you further. Look at Woodland HDB flat. Same thing. Look at the chart. It's the same formula. It's just a different estate only, right? You look at this particular block in 2012. The price was sold at block 363, was sold at 552. 2018, the price came down to 478. And today, 2021, the price came up to 586. You look at here, from here to here, it almost takes about 9 years for the prices to move back to the $500,000 range, you know. So my question here is, if you actually own a property at block 363, for example, that means your property is stagnant for the last 9 years before it actually comes out. To me, what is this called? Actually, it's called opportunity loss. And you see, those people who eventually went into buying, that means just now I show you, right? 2012, I sell my HDB at the highest price, right? Eventually, I went to buy a private property. What happened next? I actually make a sum of money here by buying this property called Nautical at Sembawang, which is very near to Woodlands here. So if you look at this, what am I trying to tell you? People who choose to stay there for the 9 years don't make a single cent out of it. And today the price has rebounded to the price that is almost like the last peak. The question here is, will you want to see yourself an opportunity in today? I mean, the decision have to think through, because why? I do not know whether what will happen next. But when it happens, are we going to wait for another 8 more 9 years? Remember, just now I show you the age group here, the age level. Time is important. We cannot afford, when we reach 60s, we will be stressed, struggling. This is not what we want. So you need to think carefully. Can I do something better for yourself? Because all these are not, I plug from anywhere. It's all from URA information. It's just that I do more research, right? Because I want to really see some of you guys here can be better off. Because like I mentioned, the crisis has created an impact to many people out there. A lot of people, income has suffered. But if you have all these savings, will it be a better position for you in any time in the future? And that is something that I need you to think carefully, right? Oh, they went in to buy Gateway in Jurong in 2013. And you look at the profit margin, 200 to 300 over 1,000. By holding on to that property, don't make a single cent. By switching their portfolio, they actually make the sense, right? But of course, at the end of the day, most important is what? Is to make sure that your numbers are taken care of. Do your financial check. I'm very sure all the agents out there probably can advise you in greater detail how to go about it, doing in the right way. Of course, if you look at another development, Tampines HDB flat, same thing, right? Same thing. Look at this, 2012, this block 230 sold at 555. 2016, 230 sold at 525. Today, same thing, sold at 538. Good news here is Tampines owners, the price did not drop. The bad news here is nothing has happened. So, which means that your money and your property is there stagnant for the last 8 to 9 years and not doing anything. But if they were to change to a property at Double Bay Residences at 20112 or 2013, right? Look, they actually make the profit from here. If people who swap, they have a chance to make the money that they want to, right? But of course, a lot of people has a lot of what? Concern, fear, right? Which is the reason why tomorrow you can join me in my, tomorrow 3 o'clock, I have another seminar. And I'm going to talk about all this thinking process, the mindset of the people, how to make sure that your investment or your purchase, right, is safe and sound movement, right? Tomorrow, 3 p.m. You look at them. If they were to change to other private property in 2014, Thompson 3, look at the profit, 100 to 200 over 1,000. Whether 100,000 is a lot or not, I can tell you, It's not easy to save that 100 to 200,000. For those people who are watching me now, you just need to think, if I'm working so hard for the last 3 to 4 years, the question here is that, right? Do we really able to save that 200,000? And it's not easy because why? The more we earn, the more we also spend. Eventually, we didn't realize that we did not save much. And that's the only reason that I like to do about property is what? Because property forced me to what? Forced me to save money, forced me to put my money into the house. And when it grows, it creates what? Opportunity, right? Same thing, Coven Regency. Look at the amount of profit they have. It's all about planning, my friend. If you plan, things can change. But if we don't plan, we will just take it as it is, but we will not know what will happen next. And that is my concern. And especially for all the HDB owner, that is my concern. The price will not just be forever going up one. You just need to think carefully what is our government role, and you will know the answer. And that is the reason why 70%, 70,000 of the HDB owners bought private property. Why? Because they know that, right? Singapore government eventually will control very well HDB market. But private generally, if you look at it, it will allow the price to go. And that is the reason why you must know how to what? Take advantage. And if you look at it, easily 85% of the people out there, right? 85% of the people out there make profit. 15% on average don't make money. Why? They don't make money because of what? What have they not done enough? And that's the reason why tomorrow, I also will be talking about it at 3 o'clock, right? How to go about doing it to make sure that your investment is what? Safe and sound. And that is crucial. Now, the next question here is it the right time? Right? Is it the right time? Unfortunately, because today the time is really very limited for me, which I cannot cover as much as possible. That's why you can see that I try my best to speed up my process, because if not, later on, someone will tell me time's up, right? So this is the reason, right? So of course, the next thing here is what? Is it the right time? Now, I think you have seen the newspaper article recently. Look at this: pandemic uncertainties crowd new private home sales sentiment. You see, when the market is unstable because of the current so-called partial lockdown, right? So news will definitely become what? Become a little bit more negative. If you look at here, new home sales strong but curb to cool what? Market. So if you look at this, is it a good news or is it a bad news? And the most important is what? The government, right, is saying, I'm watching very closely to all of you here, make sure that the price cannot anyhow go up high. So what will happen next? These are what we call what? Noise. So the question is it a good news or a bad news? Supposedly, I would like to ask every one of you this question. How many of you can in the chat group, right? In your chat group at the Zoom now, right? At least if I cannot see, at least you can type something. If it's a good news, right, you put 1. If you say it's a bad news, you put 2, right? Put inside your chat group. At least you know for yourself, right? Whether is it a good news or a bad news. I would tell everybody one thing. Today market is called confusion. Why is it confusion? Because honestly, sometimes I also lost. Because why? On one hand, the market is like that, but the so-called uncertainties in the economy is like that. And the developer, one thing is also what? Also very concerned. Because why? As a seller yourself, you only own the property. But as a developer, what is the difference? The developer owns hundreds, 200, 400, 500 units. Their concern is what? Do they dare to raise price to sell to you in today's market? Do they dare to push their price up high enough to sell you? I would probably think that they dare not. Why? Because their concern here is, I just want my unit to just go off, but I dare not raise my price. So is it a good news or bad news? The good news, I want to tell every one of you here. That's why I just now say why I talk about HDB. The opportunity has gone up for you. The price has rebounded for you. But the private is what? Because they are more careful. And that creates what? An opportunity for you to think about changing, right? So that's the reason why I say a lot of people are actually not sure. Should I buy or should I not buy? That's why I say, honestly, my friend, we should do action when everyone is confused. Why? You see, everybody like to buy property, right? When everybody chong one, no, let everybody go. But a lot of people will not buy property when it's confused, right? But do you want to buy when people are confused, where the price is always much more lower, or do you want to buy when everybody chiong one? You think carefully. That's why I'm trying to let you see the picture, because we cannot let emotion, right? Emotion affect us. Emotion is always the trigger. Because why? We don't have facts. That's why, my friend, is before you do anything, must always get to make sure that all your facts are taken care of. Only with numbers, facts, you can take a better action. All right, this is something that I believe all the agents out there probably can assist you moving forward. Now, of course, let's understand the real estate cycle, right, in better detail. If you look at this particular chart, what tells you, look at this. This is a big drop. A lot of people out there are waiting for, hey, this coming, you see now we have a second lockdown now. I think that the market will definitely slow down again, right? But if you look at 2008, this is a different time. In 2007 onwards, right, that period, 2006, 2007, right, market was reacted this way, and there's a big fall because of what? Because the government did not actually introduce many cooling measures. That is the time where the government introduced a lot of cooling measure. As a result, the price become what? Stable. Beforehand, I want to tell everyone, people buy for uncle, auntie, just walk on the street also can buy property. Why? Because very simple, the loan is so easy. Show 200,000 to the bank will grant you a loan of 80%. So that was the time. That's why when the market collapsed, what happened next? Everybody started to throw. Same thing like stocks market, right? So the question is today is different story, because the government has made it so difficult to get a property because of your income, because of your loan, and that makes the property become what? Stable. And that brings me to the next point here. If you look at this whole pandemic, 2020, the whole market only dropped by -1%. So if there is really a cooling measure coming in place, how do you think that this cooling measure can create an impact to the price? And I want to tell everyone, anyone who can buy property last year and until today, these are the people who has a holding power. Because why? These people will never take risk one. Because why? If they have concern, will they anyhow buy property? They won't. So what does it tells you? These are the people with what? Holding power, which is what we want. We want people to buy property, but we want them to hold. If there is even a crisis, they have no problem. And that's the reason why the price did not come down. Why? Because everyone hold. They are not in the stress mode. And that is the good news that what the government has done, which I think is really something that what the government has done is really fantastic, because they just want to make sure what? Property prices generally move upward. And that is a good thing, okay, because we don't want a spike. We want a general gradual growth. And this is something that I think you will see. If this pandemic, which is a world crisis, does not affect the real estate in Singapore, will it affect if there's a cooling measure? That's why I want you to think carefully, what do I say? Because I look at it, it's not. Because why? Today people buy property, they are not looking at short term. They are all looking at 3 to 5 years down the road, which they will not want to speculate. And that is crucial for many one of you here. I'm not here to tell you to buy or buy. No, I want you to hold it. If there's anything, you can still hold on to the property. Eventually, property will still go upwards. That's what I can share with you here, right? So what would be the direction be if there's a cooling measure? At the end of the day, it's all about supply and demand. Property prices go up. Very simple. When there is no supply, there's a demand, things will go up, right? So when there's a lot of supply, then there's no demand, prices will definitely come down. So this is how it works, right? So let's look at the supply. The main thing that I think that even with a cooling measure, the effect of the prices are not strong. Why? Because the good news here is that the unsold supply of the new launches, right, has came down. And why has it came down? You look at these are the colors here, right? These are the volume of transaction has been picking up since April last year. The volume has keep going upwards. As a result, what happened? Now it has came down, right? In this way. And 21,000 was actually left unsold from first quarter 2021. And April alone already sold 1,200 units, which means that we only left with about 20,000. 20,000, if you really divide by 3, it's probably about 7,000 units will be sold. So the question is, can it be sold off? Let's look at this. On history, every year, the new launches sell 9,000, 9,000, 8,000, 10,000 for the last couple of years. On a history of 10 years average, is 11. 20 years average is 10,000. So the question of 7,000 unit, can it be sold off easily? I think that is the reason, which also points to the fact that, right, developer today will not have that so-called very, very high urgency, but they will not also because of that won't want to sell their property. That's why I say they are doing this thing right because of this current moment and crisis. The developer are more careful in what? In pricing their property. And that is a good news to many of you. That's the reason why people are rushing to buy, right? Second thing, very important is what? The government land bids. Sorry if I'm going too fast because I'm just worried about my time here and there, right? If I'm doing alone myself, then no issue, right? Of course, the next thing here is what? The government land bid. But I'm very sure the agents out there probably can advise you in a greater detail. Now, next, the government as well. If you look at the land bids recently, right, the bidding price has gone higher because why? There's a lack of government land sales in the market. As a result, as you know, just now I show you what? Developer unsold unit is dropping, which means that developer don't have a lot of stocks. And developer need to answer to shareholders. What do they need to do? They need to fight for that piece of land. So when they want to fight for the piece of land, what will happen? They will have to price it higher to get that piece of land. So as a result, what happened? The price of the land become what? More expensive. Just like this MCC, right? This land was bidded, right? At 939. But look at this Grandeur Park, which is just opposite. Their land cost is 760, MCC 930. If you look at Pasir Ris, 684. So if you look at the time frame of this amount of in terms of the prices wise, it only tells you one thing: why Singapore property eventually still go higher? Because the cost of the land keep going upward. So why people choose to buy property is very simple. Because a lot of parents out there are also concerned. If I don't buy anything for if I don't start now, I only worry that my children next time cannot afford to buy. That is their main concern here, right? So that is the reason why I show you next another land bid, which is done at this so-called at where? This Lau Keng Huat actually just bought that piece of land at where? Same thing. At this area, which is what we call the uptown at Farrell, right? This location here, which is at Farrell area. You can see that the price between last time, right? They bidded the price at $129 per square foot more. This is the recent land bid. What am I trying to tell you here is what, my friend? I'm trying to let you understand that the land cost will keep going up because the what? The number of land sales is lesser. And next, the construction cost has gone up. If you look at what Lawrence Wong has said, our minister, he has said that construction cost goes up. We have to prepare to pay for a higher cost. So eventually, all these costs will go into what? To the developer side. As a result, the price of the property eventually what? Must move forward. So for those people who really have the intention to buy a private property, I can only share with you one thing. If there's an opportunity for you to buy anything that is existing, you should seriously go and look through and consider, because the future land cost will be even higher. Just like always people say, I hope that I had bought the property 8 years ago. I wish that I bought the property 5 years ago. When you keep saying, I hope, I wish, eventually you end up paying even more. That's what I can tell you. That's why people say, 早知道, right? 早知道 I would have bought, right? So every time people say, I should have done it. The moment you start to say this, right, eventually you never do it. The price of the property keep going upwards, right? So, you know, when I bought for my property for one of my daughters, right, at only one bedroom, it's only 385,000. Today, you can buy a one bedroom at 385,000 or not. And that was only in 2015, 6 years ago. But today, can you buy? Today, easily must 700,000. So that is the key difference. So my friend, will you want to see yourself an opportunity now? Because everyone is confused, right? Take advantage of this. But you look at this, right? CCR, RCR, OCR. What am I trying to show you this trend? Is this trend. Every time a high is always higher than previous high. Every time a low is always higher than previous low. So the only thing that you need to do now is don't look back. Because the moment you start to look back, you will never move forward at the end of the day. So this is something that you need to understand, that you must look at the future. I mean, at the end of the day, we are all Singaporeans here, right? We don't want our property don't move upwards, ma. So we buy already, the property eventually will move upward. Yes, ma, because what? We are Singaporeans, right? So we definitely want our property to move upward. Nobody want to buy a property that the property doesn't move upwards. I think that will be that will be not a good thing for us as a country. And that's why we have attracted so many foreigners, right, to come in to look at property. And the most important thing is what, my friend? The foreigners are not in yet. They are not here to buy things yet. So you better do anything before these people comes in, right? I think that is something that you must take note of. So if you ask me the impact of the price of the cooling measure, unsold supply is really, really dropping. That's why I feel that the impact is not strong enough, right? The developer banks, land banks, right, are also very low, which also create that urgency is not very strong. But because of the confusion today, they also dare not price it very high too. And because of the lower GLS, right, it create what? It create a demand and fear of missing out in a sense. So developer want to rush in to buy land because why? Because they are worried. What if I don't get? How do I answer to my shareholders? And that is the reason, right? And there's a lack of supply. So land price goes upward. Land cost is high. Profit is actually very low for developer. So which is a good thing, you know, my friend. They cannot price high. Eventually, they have to sell you at that price. As a consumer, what will you benefit? Because you only buy one. They have so many. They have to take care of themselves. But you must learn how to take advantage of what? Situation. Because the window is only one time, right? If any one of you who do anything last year in April, May, or June, you probably can get something good last year, right? At the right price. And of course, developer EPC is really not a concern as the supply is what? Is low. And because the government give them another one more year to what? To build. So all these concerns are actually very low. And that's the reason why I feel that even there is a cooling measure, the impact will not be that high, in my personal opinion, right? That is my own thoughts. But why I can say that is because I base on my facts and figure. And that's for you to think about it. Of course, the good thing here is that the interest rate has been so low, and that create an opportunity for people to hold on. You know why? In 2008, right, when the market was down, interest rate was down for at least 6 years before it recovered. When it recovered, it took about 4 years to recover to only another extra 1.4%. And end of the interest rate is only high at about 2%. But today it has dropped to almost 1%. So you see, every time a crisis comes in, what does it actually help us? The interest rate comes out. Because why? Because our interest rate, we are very lucky, we back to US market, right? So our interest rate always low when the market is low. And that is the reason why, my friend, a lot of sellers today are not willing to sell. Because why? They are enjoying the good rental. If you have actually watched the market, why the resale market price did not really come down? Very simple. The rental price has gone up. As a result, why must I sell at a low price? I must well hold on to my property. And that is the key factor here. All right. So if you look at this article, we must be like them, right? Bought property at Mayer Road at 580,000, 1650 square feet. I tell you, this property easily worth $3 million, right? Today. And so, and by this, look at the property they are doing. This is what I'm trying to tell you here. We cannot let the property that you are holding on to be stagnant for long. That's why if you want to understand a little bit more, tomorrow, 3 o'clock, I'm going to share with you all these things that you must know how to use your assets to work hard for you. That is how it actually has what? Helped me. All right, just a bit of introduction about myself. I'm the business for the last 18 years. I'm also the executive director for the company. Of course, I train all my 9,400 agents here in terms of helping them to get our customers to understand about the market as well, right? Of course, I do invest in property, and I also share a lot of during all the different webinars as well. Just a little bit, myself, me and wife, we really love property so much. And we, honestly, my friend, we all started also from a HDB. And how from a HDB we can today own multiple properties out there, right? Not because I just want to show what I have. No. I only want to show you one thing here is that all these things I started from just a HDB. But why am I so passionate talking about this is because I want everyone, you all, to think If you never plan, it will not happen. But if you plan, you can make things happen. That is important. That's why it's important to speak to who? Speak to the relevant people out there or any agents out there that can help you to make changes. Why? Because I have gone through all this journey myself. I know exactly what can be done, what cannot be done. And that's the reason why I always believe what? Real estate, there is a technique. You know, you definitely know how to go about doing it. Next, that system to help us, right? That's why we have 99.co. We have so many different portals to give us information, right? Next, network, which is the people that we are with. You need to mix with the right people to get the most information. And that's you guys here, right? Today, you are attending all the Singapore property shows here, right? To get yourself what? The knowledge and the network that we can work with the right people that can help you in giving you the value information, right? And that brings me to the next part here is that how do we spot property that is good? If today you have sold your property, you want to buy something, you need to think through, what can I do? How do I know whether which property is worth to buy? So today, my purpose here is I just want to use one of these example called Treasure, right? How to use this example in the future. If it's not necessary, you need to buy Treasure. You can buy anything, right? But important is what? You need to find out all this relevant information based on the product that you want to what? To buy. So that you know whether is it the best one or not the best one, right? So how do I determine the right pricing? First, let's look at Treasure. This is the development I'm talking about based on a case study, right? Wow, this development is very huge, 2,200 over unit. People will tell me, Kelvin, is it worth to buy such a big development, which is 2,200 unit? Now, let me explain to you. If you look at this, Tampines, there is Tampines Avenue 10, right? We must understand one thing. We have many different condos around this area. If you add up this condo is what? This gives you a number of 3288. So now this Treasure is actually only here at 2,000 unit, right? 2002, right? So with this 2,000 unit, it's actually lesser than the whole street here. But what's the benefit of having a big development? The benefit is what? You actually save on a lot of cost of maintenance because it's a co-sharing, So, and you have more facilities, So you don't need to go and chong with anybody because why? There's so many facilities for you to look at. So at the end of the day, everyone have your own space at the different because the land plot is so big because it's an en bloc piece of land, right? So this is something that you need to take note of. Doesn't mean that a big development cannot. Because why? Is you need to know is, do I have a lot of other people here? If I want to tell you, my friend, if Treasure here got another 5,000 unit here, or 2,000 unit, 3,000 unit, then I think you better think carefully. But here, brand new development, only got Treasure, nothing else. So that's the reason why it seems to be not a concern of what? A bigger development, right? So next, very important, when it comes to property, you need to look at three things. Land size, just I mentioned, potential upside, risk, right? So if you look at it, does land size matter, right? Just I mentioned to you here. Look at the sale. One of the biggest development, 1,111 unit, right? The price was launched in 2004. Today, did the price goes up? Actually, it still goes up. The numbers actually went up as well, right? It went up to 105%. Does big development doesn't make profit work? Actually, it works as well, right? So if you look at the profit margin for the sale, even for a 936 square feet unit, they also make a decent profit of $1.25 million, right? Of course, you will say, hey, last time Kelvin is 2004, 2001. Yes, we can always look back, right? But if we don't move forward, there's nothing we can do here, right? My purpose is to let you know one thing. My purpose is to let you know that big development does not mean don't make money. That's the main important thing, right? Look at Queens, 700 unit. Actually, the price also went up. Also went up, right? Most of the purchaser here, 1,100 square feet unit also make 800 over 1,000 as well. So is it a good profit margin? I think it's good, right? So the question is it the right price to buy in today's? Now, after talking about land size, we need to look at the potential. Rather, is it a chance to make? Let's see. In the mass market today, the pricing is about 1,004 to 1,009. Just like I mentioned to you, right, the MCC, right, which is just another one-stop MRT station, in the future, it's going to sell at 1,007 to 1,008 per square foot in the future, right? Now, the current OCR property prices in terms of new launches already being accepted by the market, right, is already between 1,005 all the way to 1,007. We have Sengkang Grand, Forest Wood, Park Clements, Cleveland, all the different products. Everyone has already accepted 1,005 and above, right? So if you can buy something at 1,002 plus per square foot, 1,003 plus, 1,004, is it a safe bet? So what am I trying to tell everybody? Next time when you want to buy any properties out there, first, you must understand that the market has accepted this price range or not. If the market has accepted this price range and I'm buying something lower than what people have paid for, am I safe? And why this developer can sell you this price? Because their land cost is cheaper. They are the old group of people. So that's the reason why you must see what? An opportunity for yourself to look backward, right? On this. And even the resale market in the mass market has already done 1,004 all the way to 1,006 per square foot. So a resale has already done this. So if they are selling from 1,002 plus, even selling at 1,004 per square foot, brand new, at 1,004, is it a fair deal? This is what I'm trying to let you know. So next time when you go and look for another property, right, you must always check all this information first, right? Before you can actually what? Make a decision whether should I buy or should I not buy, right? That is how it works. And you look at the resale east side, same thing. My Manhattan, which is in the year of 2010, the land, the TOP in 2014, their minimum price already averaged at 1,268 per square foot. So now they're starting from 1,002 plus. So is it a safe bet? This is how it works, right? Grandeur Park, just TOP. We have 1617, 1514. Of course, there's a 13 as well. Depends on the unit. I'm not so sure the reason. But even resale now, already done this price. So I'm quite confident the price that you added, is it a fair value? I cannot tell you she'll make money or not. I can't. But I want to only tell you one thing. Your risk is lower than others. That's all. Right? At the end of the day, I want to buy something. I want to buy something that my risk is low. Because at the end of the day, we all want to make money. That's the honest truth. But the most important, we're scared to lose money. I believe everyone is like that. So that's the reason why I always pay kiasu one. I like to buy things, be more careful, and be more, do more research. And that's the reason why, my friend, before you do anything, you must make sure that the agent is able to show you numbers, substance, then you can make a better decision. Look at Florence. Same thing. It's a new launch. Actually, prices has already done 15, 16, 17 already. Same thing. That means people can accept such pricing. Is it a safe bet? Then you think through, right? This is what you are looking at when it comes to what? Information. Even for a private EC, already has done 1,001, 1,002 plus per square foot, right? We are talking about private. Resale 2-bedroom, on average, 600 to 800 square feet at OCR, right? It's already done at about 1 million to 1.2 million. This 2-bedroom now is going at how much? 970. It's actually below $1 million for a 2-bedroom. So if you look at the over per square foot wise, it's 1,004 to 1,006 per square foot. And we are talking about what? 1,004 plus per square foot. So is it a fair value? That's for you to see. Look at the 3-bedroom. This treasure is looking at 1.2 plus million. So I ask myself this question. If other area, 900 to 1,001 square feet, people can pay 1.3 million to 1.7 million over dollars. So if I can buy something at 1.2 million, which means that, what am I trying to tell everybody? If people can buy at 1.2 over million, that means other people can afford to pay 1.3 to 1.4, 1.5. Means that buyer can accept to pay such prices in the outskirts, which is important factor. If today I ask you to buy something 3-bedroom at $2 million in the OCR, if I ask you to buy 2 million at OCR, then you will think better not. Why? Because I'm going to set the highest record there. Because will I be more in a risk? Definitely. So that's the reason why you need to look at numbers before you make a what? Better decision on that, right? 3-bedroom, like 1,005, 1,004, they are only at 1,003 plus per square foot, right? Is it safe for you? And you look at the new launch market, today resale already have average out 1,584. And I just now tell you, their average lowest price is 1,002 plus, 1,003, 1,004. It's still below the average of every one of them. So I feel that this development, the risk level is actually lower. And the price, I tell you, is almost like an EC price already. And that is something for you to look at. That's the reason why, my friend, Treasure has become one of the most what? Popular development. Why? Because in the year of 2020, Treasure at Tampines is the highest number of purchaser. Why? Because very simple, price. Price. When the price is right, people will take advantage. And that is the main thing that you need to look at, right? So this is just a glance through in terms, this is what I gotten the information. Actually, the 5-bedroom is something very interesting because why? It's only 1,002 plus per square foot. And I can tell you, those who really can go for something big units. And I feel that long-term wise, the big unit definitely will have a very big advantage. I look at it, those who can really afford go for bigger unit, right? Because the margin next time you make sure bigger. Of course, do I start something small? Yes. I also started from a small studio. Most important is you must start somewhere. Whether is it small unit or big unit. Same thing for me. You look at my journey in my real estate investment and the newspaper article, it's the same thing. I buy, I sell, I buy, and I sell. I need to buy and sell so that I can get what? Get more returns. And that is how I built my portfolio. Eventually, what we are looking at? We are looking at towards our age 65. Can we retire happily at the end of the day? And that is something that all of you must what? Must take note of. All right. So thank you so much. I did not exceed my time frame, and I hope that you can enjoy my segment so far. Whatever I share with you, of course, I just do my very best to give you because I really do not know how much time that I really have. But I hope that whatever my sharing can add benefit to all of you here. All right. So that's about what I'm going to share. Thank you so much. I believe there are so many speakers out there, and I'm quite sure that you can benefit from all these people that you can learn from. All right. So I understand that there will be something that I need to do, right? What's the question? Oh, okay. So is it a good time to upgrade now? Oh, no. This is my thing. My worry is that the road leading to the entrance of Treasure at Tampines is a single lane we shared by bus lane, 2,000 plus unit, assuming. Of course, as I think the person who is asking this question, the person who is asking this question is right. My worry is that the road leading to the entrance of Treasure at Tampines is a single lane, which is shared by bus lane, and with 2,000 plus unit, assuming half of those households have car, wouldn't be a heavy traffic jam every day. I guess that this is not just only the concern of most people, but I think that in general, it depends on time that you go out. I think we do see a lot of such kind of area. You look at Tanjong Pagar or all this. At the end of the day, it's about how you manage time. But most important, my friend, is about the price tag that you would like to go in. Am I able to afford? And then this is something that you probably want to think first before you look at it. And of course, this is also very near to the Simei MRT station, right? So I think that's another good thing. Is there any example of bad private property purchase investment analysis for loss-making development? Definitely there is. Because why? Unfortunately, I do not have that information or numbers with me or the facts with me because it was not prepared. Will it have? Yes, my friend. I did a seminar recently as well. I shared with people, like for example, this development called One Shenton, right? They bought the property in 2007, 30-something floor. They actually sold in 4 years down the road at 2011. They actually make a very good $500,000 profit. Unfortunately, there is another group of people who same bought the 30-something floor unit, but they did not sell on 2011. They sell when? They sell in 2020, and they lost 100 to 200 over thousand. Why? Time. See, at the end of the day, why people lose money? People lose money because of time. They did not actually time the market right and just move on. Very simple. I just want to let everybody understand. If today you guys are holding on to a very high floor unit, 50 over story, and you know that you want to sell at 2008, why? Because there's a 9th floor unit sold at 2000. Then I'll say, hey, my friend, I'm 50 floor. How can I sell my unit at that kind of price at 2002 or 2003? I want to go higher. So eventually what happened? You forever never sell your house because you always want the higher price, right? But when market slow down, what happened? Too late already. I don't want to. I just hold on to it. So as a result, what happened? The price actually what? Came down. So unfortunately, due to whatever circumstances, These people sell at a loss. Why? Maybe they cannot wait. Maybe they want to change their portfolio or whatever reason. This can happen. So definitely there are units out there who are losing money, just like people who buy very expensive, like for example, Dyson, right, who bought the unit, they lost money. Everybody lose money, not because they want to lose money. It's because of timing and they want to churn the money for other purposes. And that can happen. But if you ask me, in general, important is what? Why people lose money is because they did not prepare a safety net. They did not plan ahead. For me, all my property investment, I did not lose a single cent. Why? Because I plan ahead. I don't speculate. If people speculate, I can tell you, better don't buy, because that is called risk. And I don't really advocate to buy property based on a very speculative mode. Most important, have time to hold on to it. And I think that is the most important criteria when it comes to property. I think that is the crucial part, right? So I guess this is the question that I have. Thank you so much for joining me. So now I shall hand back to the host now, right, Stephen? Thank you so much.
All right, thanks a lot, Kelvin, for that, for those insights. As you mentioned, time really is money, you know. So when you have time, then you're not so worried about your investments. You can hang on to it. You can wait for, you know, the markets to go up and down. But of course, we all never know what's really going to happen. So time is truly of the essence. Well, there are many more sessions coming up in our webinar, so you want to stick around for those. But in the meantime, I did promise you a lucky draw, so we're now going to put up our spinning wheel to see who our 2 lucky winners are for this session. Let's put it up right now and let's give it a spin. Let's see who our first winner is.